We're less than 1 hour away now from a hearing on worldwide threats facing our nation. Top counterterrorism officials set to testify in front of the House Homeland Security Committee. And amid recent threats from ISIS calling for Christmas-time attacks in the U.S. and Europe. Let's bring in Texas Congressman Mike McCaul, chairman of the House Homeland Security Committee. Chairman, thank you for coming on with us this morning. Obviously, a lot is going to be happening in the next hour. What will we learn about the biggest threat to our country today? What is it?
Well, I think we're going to hear about what is the threat post-caliphate. The caliphate has been crushed. We have defeated ISIS in Iraq and Syria. But as the King of Jordan told me yesterday, ISIS is still a threat worldwide. And so we want to know where those threats are, probably Africa, the Philippines, as you mentioned. Christmas is a big, attacking Christmas markets in Europe is a big target for them, in addition into the United States. I'm also concerned about, as we go into the holiday season, the failing report card that the Inspector General gave the TSA on screening passengers and cargo getting on the airplane. This laptop threat is a real threat. It's probably the biggest threat that I see coming out of ISIS today. It's a crown jewel to take down aviation and blow up an aircraft over the skies inbound coming into the United States. And so if our TSA can't properly screen this, we're putting Americans at great risk.
What are we doing about that, Mr. Chairman? What are we doing to combat that and fight that?
Well, we're not deploying the most recent technology that's available. And I sent a letter to the Secretary demanding that this be deployed ASAP. We have the technology. We've had a pilot program, but it has not been deployed in the airports. And that is my great concern in protecting Americans.
Would you still tell people who are listening now to travel over the holidays? I mean, how serious is this threat? As we approach Christmas, we've seen these posters calling on ISIS followers to attack the Vatican, additional threats to attack Christmas markets in Europe. How credible are those threats?
Well, the laptop threat is one of the most credible and most dangerous threats out there. It's the one that I am most concerned about as chairman of the Homeland Security Committee. And it's something that we can prevent if we deploy the proper technology. We're also going to hear from the Secretary about the idea of potential nexus between transnational criminal organizations and terrorist groups, smuggling people and weapons of mass destruction across the southwest border, which is really a clarion call for why we need better border security and the wall down on the border.
As for threats here on American soil, how worried should we be?
I think, look, we have an ocean, but that doesn't protect us from the internet traffic. The latest MO with ISIS is, they use the internet to exploit and radicalize both in Europe and the United States. The foreign fighters, the refugees are closer to Europe, so I think the threat to Europe is far greater than the United States. So I don't want to be an alarmist. However, what we saw in New York on Halloween was real. And that's the new sort of evolution of terrorist attacks that we're going to see. And they always like to try to conduct these operations around, holiday seasons and Christmas specifically. I think going into the Christmas holidays, we'll be paying close attention.
Why is that? I mean, I know there's a list of obvious reasons, but ISIS has a history of attacking and targeting Christian holidays. Obviously, Christmas, the holiday season coming up, we're seeing those threats increase. Why? Why is that such a target?
Well, because it's a religious holiday. These are radical Islamists. They don't like the Jewish faith or the Christian faith. They want to target these religions. And what better time to do it than at Christmas? And they're always, Sandra, looking for a spectacular event, something that, again, every time I read my intelligence reports, they want a spectacular event, whether it be the airplane blowing up or a huge event at some Christmas holiday. And so this is what we're on guard for. I will tell you that the FBI, who's testifying today, and Homeland Security have done a lot to stop these threats, and we've stopped a lot of plots from happening. And I have a lot of confidence in them, but as my role on oversight, I want to make sure they're doing their job to make sure the American people are safe.
Yeah, and I know you'll be talking about border security as well. The State Department, by the way, has issued a warning to Americans traveling to Europe over the holidays.
Right.
We'll keep watching it and see what comes out of this hearing this morning. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for coming on.
Thanks, Sandra.